Hey, this is Hardcore Sustainable, and today we're going to be trying to fix my fridge. My fridge has been running a little bit too cold. The lowest setting is freezing things in the bottom of it. So I have a pretty unusual refrigerator. It's a Sundanzer, which is a super efficient refrigerator compared with your typical even like Energy Star appliance. It's going to use a tiny fraction of the power that one of those appliances uses. I think this uses about 4 watts per hour, which is about what like an LED, I think this LED that's casting light on me is consuming per hour. So it's a very small amount of power considering it's refrigeration. Refrigeration normally consumes a lot of power. You kind of pay for it in the price of the refrigerator, because these refrigerators, like this one's 8 cubic feet or some around that, and it cost me over $1,000. So it's much more expensive, and at the time that I bought it, solar panels and power systems were super expensive, and so it was much more economically efficient to just invest more money in reducing your consumption, and then you don't have to invest as much in solar panels and higher capacity for your power system. One of the problems with Sundanzer is that they seem to have pretty poor like warranty and customer service. In my experience, I've had problems with their refrigeration units before, and I've tried to call them and they don't call back, or they're impossible to reach. So it's really hard to get kind of support for fixing these things, and it's also hard to find out how you fix them. But I've kind of been learning things over the years. I thought that the thermostat was probably the problem with this, because it is freezing things like from here down. It could also be a problem with refrigerant being recirculated in the coils, but I'm not absolutely sure what the problem is. I'm going to try the thermostat first, because it just seems like it's set on the lowest setting and it's still freezing everything in the bottom of the refrigerator. One of the things about this thermostat in here is it goes through a tube that goes up into here. This is where all the sort of innards are, and I've taken this panel off, and this is the thermostat and the dial right here for adjusting the fridge's temperature. I tried just moving this thermostat sensor in here down to see if that would affect the temperature in the fridge, and it does seem like it hasn't kicked on nearly as much, and it's kept it warmer in there. The problem is, when it does kick on, it just keeps on cycling on, and I'm hoping that means there's something wrong with the thermostat itself, and not something else wrong with the fridge. So I'm gonna have to replace this thermostat, and I ordered another one online, and so now we're gonna just do the little simple process of disconnecting this panel out here and then replacing the thermostat and seeing if that makes a difference. The first thing I've done, obviously, is to disconnect the power. So I have a fuse, and I have wires over by my batteries that connect the power to this. So these little connectors are usually pretty easy to just pull off, but possibly not. So these are a little bit tricky in that there's this little tab that you have to push back on to get this off of here, but once you push it back, then it slides right off. And there's another one, obviously on this side. And then there is this sensor that goes up, sticks up into a tube here. So we're gonna pull that out. I have a feeling this is gonna be fun. Repair. And obviously one of the first things we want to do on here is just pull this knob off. And then there's just a little tab in here that slide that side out, and then the other side comes right out. Super easy. And it goes in just as easily. super easy. Okay. Not sure how we're gonna deal with this. But this thermostat sensor is way longer than the old one. I'll just slide that back into there. And this one, oops. Just gotta get that seated, and then that fits in there like that. Put our dial back on it. Seems to be working. So I have the end of the thermostat here, sensor, and I'm going to find the little tube, feeding it up in there. Put this one on here. Definitely doesn't help that it's so much bigger than the old one. So it is kicking on and it's running. We'll have to see how it does with the temperature control. Okay, I just finished that repair. Hopefully it's a repair, and the fridge is running again. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's working, so we'll just wait and see how the temperature is regulated and see if it keeps the fridge at a cooler temperature on the lower setting. I mean, at a higher temperature on the lower setting than before, because before I had it down to like the lowest possible setting and it was still freezing everything in the bottom part of the fridge. So hopefully it was a thermostat and I didn't just waste 30 bucks on a new thermostat. Well, I hope you found this repair of a Sundanzer fridge helpful. I know that YouTube doesn't have a whole lot of videos on repairing these kinds of super efficient fridges and freezers, but I think most of the workings of these things are pretty simple. And unless you end up with like a pinhole and leaking refrigerant or something like that, they can usually be pretty easily repaired. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share the video with your friends and give it a thumbs up. And then if you haven't subscribed yet, do that now, and I'll see you next time.